Kunja Vihari Jaya Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaridhari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaridhari Yashodanandana Rajajanarandana Yashodanandana Rajajanarandana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jai Radha Madhava Kunjari Hari Jai Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaridhari Yashodanandana Vrajajanarandana Yamunatira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jaya Radha Madhava Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaridhari Yashodanandana Vrajanarandana Yamunatira Vanachari Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Vishnu Padaya, Krishna Prashtaya Bhutale, Shrimati Bhaktivedanta Swaminti Namine Sarasvati Deve, Gauravani Pacharine, Nirvishesha Shunyavadi, Pashkatya Deshatarine, Shri Prabhupada Ki, Prabhupada Lilamrita Ki, Jai. Thank you, it's warm. Qui c'est qui comprend pas l'anglais? Tout le monde. Vous comprenez l'anglais aussi? So the chapter today is from the Prabhupada Lilamrita. It's called New Jagannath Puri. So Puri, it's not a good word in French, but anyway, it's rotten.
What is the word in French?
Rotten.
Rotten. Oh.
But it's, French is not absolute truth. So Puri means a town. Jagannath, it's the name of Krishna, of God, means not the controller, the Lord of Jagat, the universe. And new because this is Jagannath Puri is a town in, I will explain a little because we have new monks, new guests. Jagannath anyway, even speaking about, Krishna, every word is transcendentally ecstatic. So Jagannath Puri is a town in eastern India, where is a very, very big and very, very old temple. And the Lord manifested himself there in a very ecstatic way. There is a big festival and so on. So new Jagannath Puri means it's another Jagannath Puri in the West. Prabhupada, when he was very young, he liked very much this Jagannath Puri and the festival of Jagannath Puri. A big cart, millions of people drawing with ropes, a big cart on wheels with the Lord, and everybody dancing and chanting, big crowd. So he liked it very much, and he did it himself when he was very young, 5 years old. He had a little cart with his father. His family was devotees of Krishna also. So he was doing this little festival with his little friends. But even the adults in his neighborhood, they would all gather for this so-called imitation festival, which is not an imitation, it's devotional. So it's true. And then when he grew old and he went to the West, Prabhupada he did also this festival everywhere, in all the towns of the world, Paris, London, New York. But the first time he did it was in San Francisco, and therefore he called the temple and the town in San Francisco New Jagannath Puri. That's why. So now we read. I don't know which year we are. Probably in 7. He arrived in America, Srila Prabhupada, in 1765. Then he wandered alone, very, very difficult, for 1 year to 66. And beginning of 67, he went to San Francisco and established the Ratha Yatra and everything. So Srila Prabhupada put on, let's see. Yes. Yes, so it's not yet the festival, the new festival. We are in 1967 in America, and it's a time of new revolution. It was a song, anyway, well known all over the world. It's a new revolution, revolution of love and peace, flower in the head, and like that. But it was without practical, spiritual alternative, spiritual knowledge. There were a few leaders, but they were not linked with the source of real knowledge. So they were imagining, speculating on different ways to bring out peace and love revolution. And their speculation took them toward drugs and free sex and no discipline, nothing, which was, in one sense, the idea was mainly negative, to reject the conventional way of life of their parents, which was, work, money, family, and die. And meanwhile, you are sent by the government to do war in Vietnam, which, they knew nothing about Vietnam, and so many young people at this time went there, died, and so they make a revolution. No, we don't want that. But they had no leaders, they had no knowledge. So they, beautiful people. So this was this summer of 67. It was called the Summer of Love. It was during 1 year. Thousands and thousands of young people, young boys and girls from America went, to San Francisco. And they all gathered this summer for a summer of love, make a new revolution. And it was indeed something big. They were all, completely different, with, long hair and flowers and dressed with all kind of, new waves, like that, everywhere. And they were all, there was no barrier, it's all free, peace and love, like that. Music and drug and sex, like that. In the spirit of rejecting just a boring materialistic life. But anyway, so Prabhupada came to San Francisco for this summer of love. And that's really far out, It's,
Very typical hippie word.
It's an hippie word?
Hippie word, yeah. Far
Okay.
out.
Far out, yes. Yeah, it was
It goes with the topic.
Goes with the topic, yes, that was, they were called hippies. Yeah. When Prabhupada was asked by the reporter, so what do you think about hippies? And Prabhupada answered, well, you know better than me. There are something extraordinary. Everybody was really laughing. And he was laughing also. You see, it's wonderful, how such, Prabhupada, but such elderly gentleman from Bengal, completely different times and culture from San Francisco, America, coming still with his rubber shoes and dolly and Swami hat. I mean, it's completely anachronic on all sides. And he was fitting in. He was like a star. Yeah, he was the star. He was not. He was the star of this gathering. Immediately when he would appear, all the young hippies, all the 20 boys, girls, new revolution, peace and love. Oh, yes, Swamiji. And he was the center chanting Hare Krishna with his little African bongo, boom, that's all he had. And they were all dancing around him, thousands like that. Prabhupada was immediately fitting in completely, because he was there to touch the soul, and to touch the soul with a weapon, with a weapon of Lord Chaitanya, which means, find again this loving, happy connection with the absolute truth, with a, not just a very vague concept of God or a very stern concept of God, the judge, right is good, go left is bad. But he was like, the source of all Krishna, he's the source of all beauty, of all strength, of all intelligence, of all. So he came with his knowledge, which was not like the so-called peace and love of these poor hippies. Actually, 1 year later, it degenerates very badly. It was all after, many died of overdose, this so-called free love degenerates in, all kinds of ladies being exploited, and 1 year later, boom. What is material doesn't last. But at least this summer of love, there was some ideal let's say better, some utopia. It was an utopia, and Prabhupada brought an ideal. That's the difference. Utopia doesn't exist, it's imagination, and it doesn't last. But ideal, yes. Life is, Atato Brahma Jigyasa. Life is meant to find what is the ideal, the ideal reality. Yes. So you are coming to, we are here in New Mayapur to find out and to experiment the ideal reality of life and Krishna consciousness. Very nice. Anyway, so Prabhupada is there, and and he fits in completely. His heart is very happy to be with these young people, American, Western, no idea about Vaishnav culture and philosophy and love of Krishna, but he likes them very much. He was coming from India, and for many years, when he was retired, he tried to inspire young Indians to revive their own spiritual culture. He asked help from the elders, from government, from ministers, from rich people. Nobody was answering. They respected him a lot. He was already very respected in India. But they did not took his mission of a world-saving movement seriously. They took he was a respected sadhu, okay. But they did not want to follow him. They were too much attracted at this time by Western economic development, technology. They wanted to imitate it. And anyway, but then he went to America, and there he found some real young people who wanted to renounce this materialistic way of life without knowing how to do it. And among them, many were sincere, more or less, and many could, because among those who were sincere, to find, the inner peace, inner love, stop, false ego and false life, sincerely, but maybe not ready, still too attracted to, as we say, sense gratification or material, immediate pleasure. But, some actually, really joined Srila Prabhupada and his Krishna consciousness, what he carried from the great devotees, sages from, centuries, millennia of India, this knowledge, this pure knowledge of that who we are actually, spiritual beings, eternal, and what is our connection with this world, with the complete absolute, or we are servants, and servant of what or who? We are servants of the source of life and matter, which is the divine, transcendental. And what is this divine? Oh, it's both light and person. Or, as we can understand, it's first person, first the source, and then the energy, energetic and energy. So Prabhupada was bringing this complete knowledge, authorized by all the great masters of spiritual India. And they took it. And they were not crazy. They behaved like crazy, but there were most were from very educated family, very rich, millionaires sometimes, parents, but they were rejecting everything. And Prabhupada became the leader of a small team of great, great young personalities who did, fantastic miracles under his direction and his spiritual empowerment. They did extraordinary miracle, in a few months, few years, they just spread this ecstatic, transcendental knowledge and practice and loving relationships with Krishna all over the world, everywhere, Europe, Russia, India, America, everywhere. And even India started to reawaken. Wow, is it true that he did it? This old sadhu alone, old, did it? Well, let's see. When he came back to India the first time, he brought back one American disciple, Kirtananda, and he gave him sannyas, he became an official monk. And he was received at the airport with great honor. The mayor of Delhi, all the officials were there. So he was already respected, but he did not believe in his mission. But when he came back, and with a very strong sannyas New Yorker, wow, he did it. And next time he came back with 50 young, completely ecstatic boys and girls from America. And then, all India, they traveled, starting with about Surat and Hare Krishna. He traveled with his World Sankirtan team all over India, and India just he lighted everywhere like firework. Everybody, all the Indian people were completely amazed and in love with what Prabhupada was doing, and he became, the Hare Krishna movement guru, very much respected all over India. And then it started this revolution in India also, and in the West. So that's, anyway. You have any questions? Yes, like that? Or?
It was already in India.
Huh?
When it was already in India,
yes.
Vaishnavism,
yeah.
Hare Krishna. But when he brought those people, did it not enliven it more?
Yeah. Yeah, it was covered by sleepiness. It became just, this very beautiful, authorized knowledge about transcendence. Vaishnavism is all over the world. We have devotees of God in all different traditions all over the world, same source. But in India, it is very complete, very detailed, and practical. So it was there before in India, this complete, pure, beautiful knowledge about the soul and Krishna and Bhakti. But it was, with time, it became just a family tradition, sometimes even mythology, and covered by the attraction for immediate modern life, But when he came with his true devotion, true love of Krishna, immediately, immediately in a few years, 50 years now, India, wow, reawakened. Yes, this is a real wealth, a real glory. Prabhupada established a temple in New Delhi, glory of India, Radhaparta Sarati Mandir, or real glory of India, the name of the temple. And now you have for Janmashtami, I think there are 1 million people coming in 3 days. But it's very big. Yes, so India is spiritual, is a land of spiritual reawakening. Yes. Anyway, Prabhupada, first he went to America for benefit. Now, Indian devotees recognize they did not do it, but the Western did it. under the power of Srila Prabhupada. Just like last year we celebrated the 50 years of New Mayapur here, and all kind of Indian officials, ambassadors, and leaders like that came. And Mr. Sukwal is the president of all the Indian Association in Paris. And he said, yes, we are very, very grateful to you, those French devotees, like that. He named a few. And you did what we should have done. You revived the real wealth of India, the real, glory of India. You did it, very heroically at the beginning. We are very grateful. Thank you so much, and we will help you now. Very nice. So Srila Prabhupada, we are in 67. Prabhupada is going to this meeting of hippies in San Francisco, in a place called the Hippie Hill. Hippie Hill. I went there once, and okay, it was, not so much a hippie hill, it was, 30 years later. But, young people were still there, and still there was one girl, it's still, San Francisco, and she had a boa, a living snake, a boa. It was yellow, like this, and very long, on the shoulders, and boa was going here and there with it. A strange place. So Prabhupada is on this hippie hill, and he goes there to chant Hare Krishna. And then after that, those who are, touched, they follow him back to the little storefront temple, and then he delivers the knowledge, and everything started like that. Srila Prabhupada put on a sweater over his turtleneck jersey, wrapped his chadar around his shoulders, and left his apartment accompanied by a few disciples. The weather was beautiful. The blue cloudless sky reminded him of India. An hour before, he had sent devotees ahead to start a kirtan, and now one of the girls had come running back to him, excitedly knocking on his door and announcing, "Swamiji, there are so many people!" The clay mridangas he had ordered many months ago from Calcutta had recently arrived. Today would be one of the first times he would play a genuine clay mridanga in America. The boys and girls would like it. He had arranged for the drums to be wrapped in cloth and had cautioned the boys to be careful because the clay drums broke easily. The walk to the park was short, and as usual, Prabhupada walked faster than his young followers. They walked down Frederick Street to Stanyan, where they turned the corner at the donut shop, frequented by the Hells Angels, and sometimes still by certain devotees. What's only about that? Yeah, donuts are, something in America. But, we're supposed to, think of beautiful, merciful Krishna always, even for eating, or especially for eating, because it's every day. So, the relationship with Krishna, it has to be the most beautiful exchange, the most beautiful food. So one aspect of this beautiful food is that it's to be cooked with a nice spirit, and you put your devotion, your heart in your food, and Krishna is, that's what he likes, and then he gives back, he gives us his heart also, and nice exchange. So we are not supposed, to eat food cooked by somebody who is not putting his heart in this. He's putting his money. So, first disciples of Prabhupada, no more donuts cooked by, I cannot buy any more donuts. Not possible. But now, there's devotees who make shops themselves, cooking shops, donut shops like that. Actually,
there's a famous donut shop by a devotee in New York.
yeah, give me the address after class. All right, but at this time it was Hells Angels. Probably they did not pay, and a few devotees who could not, give up this. On Stanyan, they hurried past the parking lot of Kesard Stadium, the stadium itself looming beyond. At Wallen Street intersection, Prabhupada continued his rapid stride without stopping or even bothering to look at the light. One of the boys caught his hand. Where is Swamiji, the light? Red, green, like that. But Prabhupada darted across the street. Phew. As they continued down, standing toward 8th Street, the park appeared on the right. They entered, walking past a duck pond with a fountain and a willow tree on its center island. You see? A pond or lake must have a center island. So they're making an island in New Mayapur Lake now, just near the duck and the swans. They walked past all redwoods, eucalyptus trees, with land fragrance to the surrounding area. There were also maple, oak, ash trees, flowering leaves, azalea. Prabhupada says that the park resembles parks in Bombay, and that the city was like a holy place because it was named after Saint Francis, San Francisco. So, Prabhupada was a saint. He was a saintly person. He was a saint. He was lover of Krishna, lover of God, lover of Krishna. So, there is a song, it's a French song, and it's common, When you love, you see life in pink, Everything is beautiful. Quand je vois la vie en rose. Everything is beautiful when you love. So when you love God, when you love Krishna, you see everything related to Krishna. Everything is at least heading toward, happiness, beauty, Even in this material world, so many sufferings, so many bad things, And when it is nice, it will not last, So it's not easy to be. But Prabhupada was driven by this faith, realized faith that everything that God made, including this world, is meant for the rehabilitation of everybody. So, he was not discouraged. We are sometimes discouraged, because, it's not possible. Why God did that? God did not do that. We wanted this life of immediate pleasure, exploiting something which doesn't belong to us, or people who have their own interest, and therefore we are forced to come in this place and so many problems. But God is okay. You are, but I will take care of you, so that someone I will make you go back to spiritual world, for eternal blissful life without any problem, past, present, or future. So that's the plan of God for this world. And a servant of God like Prabhupada, he was fully conscious of that. And he didn't want the plan of God to be forgotten, because otherwise everybody would go to hell. So, he saw San Francisco, yes, all glory to the saintly town, named after a saint, St. Francis. They enter a 50-foot long tunnel with artificial stalactites hanging from the ceiling, and came out onto a path it's beautiful. A path heavily shaded by trees on either side. Just ahead was a meadow, covered with tiny daisies and clover, and encircled by redwood and eucalyptus trees. Prabhupada could hear the chanting, the kartals, and the booming of the timpani. As he entered the meadow, he saw a sloping hill dotted with hundreds of young people, sitting, lying, lounging, smoking, throwing frisbees, walking around, and the meadow below the hill was his kirtan. The meadow was a popular place, meadows in pelouse. People walked through it on the way to the zoo or the tennis courts. But today, many passersby had stopped and were listening in a group, about 200 feet from the kirtan. Oh, closer in, about 50 feet from the kirtan, 3 x 5, 15, 10 feet means 3 meters. Anyway, close to the kirtan. 50 meters was another group, listening more intently. And there was the kirtan party itself. Prabhupada's disciples and dozens of young hippies sitting tightly together and chanting, and others were standing by, clapping, swaying to the rhythm of the drum and kartals. Flags decorated the kirtan area, 3 feet by 4 feet. 3 feet by 4 feet. They had been made by devotees, or big flags, and each bore the symbol of a different religion. A bright red flag with a yellow star. That's Jewish, huh? Yes. Yellow star. Yeah, star. And the crescent moon of Islam, flew from 10-foot bamboo pole stuck into the earth. Beside it waved a pale blue flag with a dark blue star of David. Oh, that's Jewish. Dark blue star of David in the center. And beside another flag, a yellow one with a Sanskrit Omkar. Om. Prabhupada, yes, hippies, they had this utopia of united humanity in love and peace and spiritual, something beyond daily life like that. So, of course, everybody knows about something which is called religion. And, in religion, there is some idea about that, some idea about love and somebody there in the sky. But we don't want to fight, religions, they are, because of lack of knowledge and nice examples, a few sometimes here and there. But, with the pressure of materialistic times, religions, mostly become like, sectarian, ritualistic, dogmatic things. I am Hindu, I am Muslim, I am Jew, I am a Red Indian, I am, So they do not want that. So they put a flag of all different, hope of spiritual life. Prabhupada's disciples, with their long hair, casual clothes, were indistinguishable, from the other young dancers and singers, except for the strands of long red chanting beads around their necks. Some of the devotees danced with arms upraised against the background of uninterrupted blue sky. Others played instruments. The kartal and tampani, mridanga, were there. Ayagriva, devotee young, had brought his cornet. And there were other instruments brought by devotees and hippies. When Sri Prabhupada came to install Krishna and Balaram, it was like that, not hippies, but many devotees cornet. And one, Yogeshwar Prabhu, he had a cornet.
Oh,
I remember. His cornet was above the sea of heads, the devotees jumping like that. You see the cornet. The kata, like little children were taking part. Even a stray dog pranced in the innermost cycle of the kirtan party, like Kala. It was. On Sunday, the meadow beneath Hip Hill was always an open show, and today, the kirtan was a featured attraction. Prabhupada joined the kirtan. Walking up suddenly, to the surprise and delight of the devotees, he sat down and began playing the new mridanga, leading the singing in a loud voice. We have a video of this was taken at this time, and Prabhupada is so one and only one amongst all these young people. He's sitting He is among them, but you can see he's also from another world. And he's very concentrated in his meditation on Krishna and Bhakti. Giving Krishna and giving Bhakti to all these young hippies. And he's very seriously but ecstatically, chanting strongly, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. The video is powerful. Yeah, because chanting Hare Krishna, basic it has to be loud chanting. Loud chanting, like the kirtan we had, a few minutes ago. There was, the room was crowded, was so many devotees, maybe 4 or 5. But they were chanting so ecstatically, dancing, whirlwind, It was like a festival. It was really ecstatic. Hare Krishna. So Prabhupada is there chanting very loudly, ecstatically. You can chant also slowly, softly, but not always enough loud that you can hear yourself. This is a principle to vibrate the sound of the mantra, Hare Krishna, with the upper and lower lips moving, Prabhupada, right, like that, and you catch it with your ear. So it has to be loud enough that you can at least catch it with your own ear. And when you are together in tour, enough so that everybody around, all the people can hear. Mukunda is one of the first beautiful devotee. Although we had heard Swamiji playing different drums, he says, before, and some of us had played along with him different drums, when he plays a clay mridanga from India, Bengal, it was a completely different feeling. The feeling it created was akin to seeing an old friend after many, many years. It was so right and so natural. It was the very thing our kirtans had been missing, and it increased our feelings of ecstasy many times over. There was an article on the Mridanga not long ago, and he was defining the Mridanga like he's another devotee, part of the team of devotees of the kirtan. He's like another devotee. He's personified. He said that the strings, the strings all around the mridanga, there are 32, because each one is one word of the Maha Mantra. So it's a very special instrument. It's not separated from the living Sankirtan movement. Okay. And when you play it, so nice, the bongo, tum, tuk, tuk, boom, tuk, tum, boom, and great, when the mridanga plays, wow, that's different, it's another level. Okay. So obviously, Swamiji was in greater ecstasy than ever. You could sense by the way he held the drum, by the ease with which he brought out its intricate rhythm to control the kirtan, that this drum was like a long-lost friend to him. Krishna consciousness is a wool, we got the wool package, It's like, wool package, it's mantra, prasad, Bhagavad Gita, Mridanga, deities, devotees, everything. Nothing is missing. Nyumayapo, everything is there. So now we go back to the narration. Prabhupada was the center of attraction. Even his age and dress made him prominent, whereas the others in the park were mostly young people dressed in denims and various hippie costumes, Prabhupada was 70 and distinctly dressed in saffron robes. And the ways the devotees had all cheered and bowed before him and were now looking at him so lovingly caused onlookers to regard him with curiosity and respect. As soon as he had sat down, some young children had gathered close to him. He had smiled at them, deftly playing the mridanga, enthralling and entertaining them with his playing. What a beautiful scene, huh? Very beautiful, very real. Prabhupada is just simultaneously coming down from another world. It's really this personality, and he's also, attracting the real people around like that. I had the same experience when I saw. I came to to this first conference. I went to see a sage. It was another meeting with a sage, and I saw this personality. He was really from another world, and he was connected with God, obviously, but not something gray or black and white, something colored, a colored God, but he was very personality from there, not from here, and around him, these young devotees, boys, girls. Wow, that made a scene. They were my age, so it was more for me like that. But that made a scene, very beautiful. And Prabhupada was speaking like that, very concentrated, giving knowledge from, sages of India since, centuries, as it is, very concerned by his mission to his predecessors. I was feeling that, not knowing exactly, but I was really feeling that he was a missionary, serious one, with not a speculative knowledge, but real, wow, and very serious and concerned that he's addressing people in the crowd. He wanted to touch, not just making a talk and bye. No, he was really concerned, that can you hear? The soul is hearing, yes. And then he did a kirtan with his kartals, very concentrated like that. And the same when then a little girl, 5 or 6, he walk up to the stage, and dancing a lot. And then Prabhupada opened his eyes and beautiful smile, and then he increased the kirtan more joyful like that. Everybody, that was really nice. So, and still like that, it happened in 67, I saw that in 72, and today, same, we started the kirtan, this morning, very sober and simple, and tuf, in front of Prabhupada, and naturally the energy, the eternal, pure spiritual energy, came out from this disciplic succession through Srila Prabhupada, and we just, we become ecstatic. It's always there. Govinda Dasi, another new disciple of Prabhupada, a young girl, she says, with Swamiji's arrival, there was a mastery and authority about the whole kirtan that was absent before. Yeah, if we want to, I read. We were no longer kids in San Francisco chanting Hare Krishna. Now we had historical depth and meaning. Now the kirtan had credentials. His presence established the ancient historical quality of the chanting. When Swamiji came, the whole disciplic succession came. Just like we said. And yes. Yeah. After an hour of chanting, Prabhupada, an hour, he chanted, 1 hour. No different tunes or like that, just, mainly transcendental sound vibration coming from the heart. Prabhupada, with a desire to touch the heart. Prabhupada stopped the kirtan and addressed the cows. not the cows. The crowd. That's so beautiful, the cows. This morning, the rising sun, the cows, the bells. Anyway, you address the crowd. Prabhupada. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. This is the sound vibration, and it is to be understood that the sound vibration is transcendental. And because it is transcendental vibration, therefore it appeals to everyone, even without understanding the language of the sound. This is a beauty. Even children respond to it, and so on. After speaking 5 minutes, Prabhupada began the kirtan again. One woman with long, uncombed red hair began dancing back and forth and chanting with her baby in her arms. A man and woman sitting side by side played together on the heads of a pair of bongos. Subal, another young devotee, in tight konduri pants and a flowing white shirt, danced in a semblance of the Swami step, as he has showed him. And although Subal looked somewhat like an American Indian dancer, a little girl no more than 4 years old sat cross-legged, playing kartad and chanting seriously. A suave-looking fellow wearing a vest and round sunglasses played castanets against his palm. Ravindra Swarup, the devotee, sat rocking back and forth as he plays the drone on the harmonium. Yeah, the harmonium was not yet expert harmonium. It was just like that. But you can hear, it's so transcendental, the whole thing is that he really plays his part, the harmonium, like that. And what is that? Oh yes. What is that? Harmonium. Beside him, Ayagriva chanted forcefully. He was a young teacher at university with big hair and big beard and very, tall and, very assuming, very chanting. He was chanting forcefully, his head and upper body longing forward and back, somewhere like this, somewhere like that. His long hair and beard jutting out widely, while nearby a girl stood with her right arm around one boy and left arm around another boy. All 3 of them swaying back and forth, singing with peaceful, blissful smiles, enjoying the chanting and the sunshine. One girl sat silently meditating, while beside her, a girl danced provocatively, and a 5-year-old besides the dancing girl plays with 2 balloons. So that's the scene, and Prabhupada is there. Hare Krishna. So it's time. Yeah. So that's the beginning of the Hare Krishna movement. One person, but a special person. Special because he, as it is said, he carried the beautiful and authoritative weight of this succession of masters, transmitting carefully this knowledge since Vyasadeva 5,000 years ago. Same knowledge, same Bhagavatam, same Bhagavad Gita, same mantra Hare Krishna. Still, very powerful because it is not changed, and also the bhakti is not changed. The process of hearing and chanting is through humble subordination to Krishna, to God, with love, with devotion. And then the miracle happens, if you have the proper attitude. So that was Prabhupada. Shows the power of bhakti and Krishna's philosophy. Very powerful. Can change lives. It did change many lives. Surprisingly. We are still surprised. What did he do? Yeah? Mystically, yes. But it is real. It is the power of bhakti, pure bhakti, and pure devotional service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, following the footsteps of genuine, advanced devotees like that. It works. There's no way it will not work. Maybe a little delayed because we step back or step aside or this and that. But once you start, you are finished. Those who came a monk challenge. It's not a weak monk challenge. Yes. Yeah, your life, you started a very auspicious life now. Yes. Some or other. So Prabhupada, he gave that. Today is Prabhupada, Lilamrita, Prabhupada's, glory. So, he gave what a spiritual master is supposed to give, but he gave it when everything seemed to be lost. When this knowledge, this practice, this love seemed to be lost, including in India. Prabhupada would not have started his movement. India in a few years was finished. I mean, spiritual India. Was swept away by modern, sense gratification technology. Maybe worse than in the West because, quickly, widely, and all kinds of, so-called spiritual things, which are not. Anyway, so Prabhupada, alone, he started this revolution on the order of his spiritual master, his faith in the Maha Mantra and Bhagavad Gita, and he gave, we cannot save ourselves. We cannot. We may want to be saved, but we cannot save ourselves when you are bound by so many strings of this world, which is, the three modes of nature. You cannot go against that. It's impossible. But you can desire. When the soul is completely bound, the soul is still free. That's good news. The mind is bound, the intelligence, the body, the senses, all bound by desires or hates or like that. What is a verse? Desire and hate. I mean, that's your service here during the class. It provides the verses. Anyway, we are all bound, by culture, our family, our friends, our conceptions, problems. But our soul, the soul, is still free. And what tell you? But he cannot do anything. Yes, he can desire with hope and humble faith. And through this, desire, it's going to break all the links of the bondage, like that, because Krishna and the spiritual master, they will come and yes. So Prabhupada came to do that, do something that we could not do ourselves, even through so-called peace and love and spiritual experiences of, imagination. It's all imagination, but this is not imagination. And he gave what we, in Sanskrit, it's a science. It's a science and an art. Means science is for everybody. It's the right way. And art is applied individually also. We need some individual. So it's a science, and it's called Sambandha, Abhideya, Prayojana. You know, could say theory, practice, and results. You know, or you can say intelligence, action, and love. You know, that's like that. You know. First, knowledge of who we are, what are we supposed to, what is the plan about this world and about us. It must be a plan, something, a way to go, a way to reach, freedom and happiness. Knowledge, we are a spirit soul, we are not the body, we are part and parcel of the Supreme, who is the Supreme Personality of Buddha, it's Krishna, and he comes to speak to us, to save us, Bhagavad Gita, and give us, himself through the sound, Hare Krishna. So this is theoretical knowledge for intelligence. And then after Prabhupada gave us that, through his books, and he's chanting, and then he gave us Abhideya. It's a practice, yes. Mridanga, Kartal, chant Hare Krishna, offer you food, respect prasad, and so many practical things he gave. Because only the books, very difficult to live with only knowledge. No, practice how to use the books. Like I think it's Gorangi. Yeah. Yes, Gorangi. She told me that when she arrived here, first time, I hear about Hare Krishna. When she arrived here, she told me, "Oh, you received me on the entrance of the castle." And I said, "I read the Bhagavad Gita." She said, "I read the Bhagavad Gita, and I want to know about this." And I told her, "Here we are practicing Bhagavad Gita. You find the right place." So it's a practice. So he gave us knowledge, practice, practical, and the goal, love of God. And this has to be given by a person. Like any science, anything. You want to learn music, you want to learn law, medicine, carpentry, or you want to learn life, you need person, you need some parents. It's always like that. And for spiritual education, which is Raj Vidya, the top of all education, we don't need anybody. Doesn't look, something wrong. So even if it's just for advice, somebody who knows more, who practice more, will realize more, even for advice, But we need more than someone who can give us advice, sadhu, we read many different spiritual people, give good points like that, We need more than that. We need this personal love of God. That's what we need, And that can be given only by someone who has it. Because it is not only theory, knowledge, it is not only practice, devotional service, which are necessary also. But the goal is simultaneously to awaken a real life, the life of the soul, which is to love Krishna, to exchange some feelings, loving feelings, affectionate feelings with this Supreme Person. Because he wants it, he wants that. He wants us to be fully alive only for that. Exchanging with us and us with him some affectionate feelings, which is topmost happiness and bliss. So, spiritual life means proper knowledge, practical practice, and this. But what is love? It's not theory, it's not action, it's something from a person, So that's why we all need a person to awaken this relationship with us. Spiritual master like Prabhupada. He was alone, and he ignited this devotion from the soul all over the world. This is very, if we don't, we may have the books, we may have the practice, but if we don't have the personal connection, Yasya Prasad, Bhagavad Prasad, Yasya Aprasad, Nagati Kutopi. If we don't have the personal mercy, feelings, consciousness, I want you, we do like that, then all our knowledge and practice are, remain, something is missing. Yes. So we always learn, practice, and we always pray to have this mercy of awakening our conscious, loving feelings, bhakti with Krishna. And it is there since the very beginning if we have this proper attitude. First time we, like first week, immediately, because this Hare Krishna movement is authorized in knowledge, authorized in practice, and authorized in heart. So immediately when we connect with this ISKCON movement, Prabhupada, which has spread everywhere, even to other institutions and bona fide other institutions. But this very powerful, genuine love of Prabhupada is the igniting spark, for that. So it's really inspiring to know that we have, now we have grabbed the rope, to the spiritual world and to pure bhakti, to a relationship with the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna. It is, when you grab it like electric wire, you feel, and it will increase more and more because we have to purify ourselves. We are not stupid or proud that, I am, that's it now, I'm a devotee. No, more or less long way to go so that the wire is free from all kinds of coverings. But still, we should never go without some of these ecstatic, loving feelings in our practice and knowledge. We must be there, regularly at least. And through this sincere desire, Krishna is giving it. He's giving this heart ecstasy. At least he knows our sincerity. He knows how far we can go without happiness in Krishna. And then when it is time, he gave us a little encouragement. And okay, then now you work again. Okay, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram. And number, cooperating. And then you make your way, and you make your life is successful. It's going to be better and better and better. It's science and art. Prabhupada is a scientist, and he's an artist with each other also. Glory to Srila Prabhupada. Jai. Hare Krishna.